Hi, and welcome to the Chapter 16 lecture on career services in college settings. Okay, so looking at statistics, developmental issues here, student competencies and program standards, higher education organizational structure, career services on college campuses. So statistics, 20 to 50% of students entering college are undecided about their major. And given that this came out in 2016, I would wonder whether that number has stayed the same, whether it's higher, whether it's lower. I know that a lot of like college preparatory high schools have been more and more coming out, and then even some magnet schools and things of that nature. So 75% of college students change their major at least once. I changed mine twice. Both my parents changed theirs twice. My brothers changed theirs at least once, and I think my sister changed hers once. So very, very, very common to change majors. You come into college thinking, I'm going to be a doctor, and then you take biology and you're like, nah. For me, I took microeconomics, and I decided business major was not for me. But most students spend most of their time watching TV, downloading music, rather than immersing themselves in the career development process. And in terms of developmental considerations, you want to look at students who transition directly from high school to college. So considerations for self-management, relationships, academic, and career management as well. So in terms of self-management, they're having to manage having more responsibility and more freedom as a young adult, as well as learn how to manage their time, because maybe mom always made sure they were up in the morning, or dad, or their parent, or their grandparents, whoever raised them. And so now they're really having to take on, even laundry and grocery shopping and all these different things, especially if they've moved away from home in order to go to a college. And time management may or may not be a skill that they had to learn. I think that students that are involved in extracurriculars during high school get a little bit more exposure to the requirement for time management, just because they have to manage school plus, right? So self-management is something to consider. Also looking at relationship management, they might be having different family of origin issues where they're experiencing pressure to succeed, pressure to also be a lawyer, pressure to also be a doctor, pressure to also be fill in the blank. Maybe they're wanting approval from their family, or maybe they realize their family has a lot of issues they didn't know about before, whether they learn about those things through a class or through meeting their classmates' families. And then they're also going to be managing relationships with peers. So they've maybe lost a lot of their high school friend group, and now they're developing a peer group in the college environment, which may or may not be helped by being involved in Greek life, clubs, organizations, sports, these different kinds of things. So just recognition of relationship changes in a client's life can be helpful with the counseling you provide. Academics as well, they're perhaps encountering a new academic structure, new academic demands, different course formats, scheduling, right? So maybe they've got classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and only Tuesday, Thursday, whereas they used to have the same class every day of the week. So it's just very different. They've also got syllabi to manage and increased responsibility for pacing their schoolwork. One of my favorite recommendations to make to clients that are in school, because I'm also in school and you might be able to see my planner, might not, is I love taking syllabi from all the classes I'm enrolled in and putting them into my planner or into a calendar, so that I don't have to keep referencing 3-4 syllabi for a whole semester. I can just look at the calendar and be like, okay, this week I have 4 things to do in 3 different classes. Okay, I know how I need to manage my time, because next Tuesday is this, but Sunday is that, right? So that can be absolutely part of managing that college identity, academic management, if you will. And then the need to select a major is also something that they're looking at. Most schools, from what I recall, require that you declare a major by your junior year so that you can make sure you get all of the requirements for a major done. Okay, and then looking at career management, there's a level of connection with academic major that varies a lot. So you might be super excited about being an anthropology major, or you could care less about being a biology major, right? It just depends the excitement about the topic, or the passion about the topic, perhaps, or how applicable it feels to your life or to your goals. Career selection, career planning, career entry and transition absolutely are also part of the career management process. What are you going to do after you graduate? Where do you want to go? Do you want to start looking at internships while you're still in college? Do you want to join a research lab about some topic or be a research participant in a couple different things to see if those perk your interest in any way? Different things like that. And then also looking at developmental considerations for returning students, you got those same considerations to look at. So for same self-management for the returning student, they might be more experienced and better at managing their personal freedoms. And maybe they're not a freshman anymore. Now they're a sophomore, junior, maybe even a senior. And so they've had time to adjust and learn how to be away at the University of Houston when they're from Dallas, right? They might also have adult responsibilities that they're juggling, maybe work, maybe childcare, maybe pets, maybe internships or volunteering, things like that. As for relationship management, there might be continued impact on the family, and reaction supportiveness of family may vacillate from one end of the spectrum to the other, just depending on the season, or it can just be different from one client to the next. One client could have a very supportive family set of family members versus another person might have a family that wants nothing to do with them because they didn't go to the alma mater that everybody else went to or something like that. So, there's different things that can happen there, of course, and you want to be wary of that, mindful of that. As for academic management, returning students may feel out of practice, may have discomfort with new technologies. And also when it says returning students, something else to think about is not only just like returning for a second and third year, these could be people that maybe left school for a number of years, and now they're coming back to finish their degree. So they might have, I feel like I'm out of practice. I don't remember how everything works. Like, I feel kind of out of the loop. And they might be uncomfortable with new technologies. They might be uncomfortable with computers or laptops or using Wi-Fi or using a library's digital tracking system. Maybe they were used to using the like Rolodex type cards to go find a book in the library. So that's just something to think about. And then for career management, they might have a keen sense of connection with their education, have a better idea of the career that they're wanting to do, the planning they're wanting to do, and their career entry transition might look different just because maybe they've already been out in the working world. And so they're trying to change things up. I'm not sure of whether U of H offers it or not, but in my PhD, where I'm doing my PhD at Texas Tech University, they've got a career center that offers a lot of really great trainings on like how to do a resume and practicing an interview and these different kinds of like a mock interview, these different kinds of things to be able to help students transition into the working world. So it's not like their first interview after they graduate is their first interview after they graduate. They have experience with doing that, trying that, as well as, job searching and such. So for competencies and standards, looking at these two. So for the National Career Development Guidelines, there are 3 domains. There's the personal and social development domain. There's going to be educational achievement and lifelong learning domain, and then career management domain. And so looking at the personal social development domain, there's 4 goals here that have to do with building up your self-concept, building up interpersonal skills, growth, and just balancing who are you and what you want to be doing, what roles do you want to play in your life, and how are you going to manage those. For the educational achievement, lifelong learning domain, there are 2 goals that have to do with educational achievement and performance, as well as participating in ongoing learning. So as counselors, that's something we've kind of already got under wraps, right? Because we have these continuing education credits that are required for our licensure once we get our license to maintain it. So you want to look at, helping your clients with maintaining education in whatever field they're interested in so that they don't maybe get behind other people who are staying on top of it. And then maybe their value as an employee goes down because they're not as knowledgeable as the next guy or next gal, next person. And then lastly, the career management domain's got these 5 goals, which have to do with career planning, decision-making, looking at the management of whatever plan the client comes up with or is working through. They're also mastering different skills that are going to help them with the employment that they're seeking. And then that last goal is going to help integrate trends and societal needs and economic conditions into the plan so that they can be ideally more successful or more probabilistically successful. As for the 2012 CAS standards, these are the career service units on each campus that are going to be, the career services unit on each college campus should help students and other designated clients to develop their career choice and performance in the workplace and have understanding of the things that are involved in making decisions related to one's career. Also going to help them with identifying suitable academic programs and help them with taking responsibility. Like, this is your life. This is your life. This is your career. This is the job that you're going to be doing. And you're the one that's going to make these decisions. No one can make them for you. Continuing to look at that, you want to understand how professional interests and competencies might relate to occupational job requirements, develop job search skills, presentation skills. They can get linked into, like I went to the University of Texas, they have a organization called Texas X's, and it's for alumni of UT, and you pay a due and you're part of that, and you can network with them and do all these things. They can also help, you can also help them with utilizing technology throughout the process and prepare them for managing career upon graduation, because that's the goal. We want them to eventually graduate. Don't want to have to be a student forever. Looking at the organizational structure of colleges and universities, there's a division of academic affairs, student affairs, and then there are also centralized and decentralized components to consider. So for college career service units, you've got counseling professionals and student affair professionals that are available to help students with making career decisions. And then in terms of collaboration within the career service unit, there is collaboration between admissions and all these other different entities with career services to help a student be successful. So it's one of those things where, if somebody doesn't know the answer, they can go and ask somebody else, or they can schedule a meeting with somebody else, or they can refer you to the other person, or they can bring them in the room, or they can go next door and ask, or they've got a handout that they can give you, or a link, or they can connect you, or they can forward your email, these different kinds of things. So that collaboration lends to a student's success in their career. As for program components, college career services should include these different things. You want to be able to offer a multifaceted career counseling service to a client that comes in for services. These are different things that can lend to their success. And then in terms of workshops, I don't know if any of you guys love workshops yet. Maybe you'll develop that love or that passion upon becoming a licensed counselor, but I love going to conferences and workshops and continuing education things because they help me grow as a counselor. They help me stay abreast of the most recent research and information that's coming out. And in the same way, there's different trainings here that can help clients with developing their career identity. And so you can always provide these different trainings among, I'm sure, many, many others to help them with developing their identity and their career. As for career counseling and development events, groups, and courses, these are some different things that students can take part in or that can be planned by career counselors. Majors fair, set up a booth with all the different majors available, and you can walk around and talk to them about what kind of jobs would I do with this. Or like I was talking about, Texas Tech offering a mock interview day where they sign up and they can in advance sign up and say what the kind of job it would be so that the interviewer knows what kind of questions might be asked and you can practice your answers. And then group counseling can be offered related to competency. It can be some psychoeducation or a certain subpopulation. It could be specific to Latin Americans or what have you. And then courses, you can offer courses in career decision making as well as how to transition from college world to work world. And then for further education, the information can be hard copy, digital, computer assisted. You can do presentation and send everybody the PDF virtually, which would maybe be online digital materials. I guess you could consider that. And then for categories of information, these are some different categories of information that can be provided to students having to do with options for further study, job search, employer, all these different things. And then for computer assisted guidance systems, You've got Kappa, Focus 2, and the CG3. These are some other resources you can use with clients in order to help them with career guidance. Also, Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce have a lot of really great resources here that you could use. You'll find, at least I've found as a counselor, a lot of the time, what I'm doing with clients, even if it's not related to careers, I'm providing resources, things for them to read, things for them to consider, because maybe they don't want to spend a whole hour in an appointment just reading through an article together. I've seen a lot of clients actually prefer like being given the homework assignment to go read 3 or 4 things and then come back and discuss, okay, so what did you think of the college payoff and the help wanted in the Midwest challenge things that you read? What'd you think of that? Oh, I like this. I didn't like that. So might be a little heavy on the resource provision with these different PowerPoints, but it's purposeful because resources are a great way to save your breath and let your clients develop a little bit of independence to do some research for themselves instead of having their hand completely held through the whole process, maybe more than is necessary. And then also you've got these experiential learning opportunities, different things that clients can do or students can do to be able to gain experience. They learn through experiential learning. So that could be cooperative education, work-based study, jobs, volunteering, shadowing, internships, undergraduate research. They could be a research assistant in labs of interest. You can approach professors. Hey, I was wondering if there's any research that you're doing that I could be an assistant or that I can participate in. I'm really interested in that, so on and so forth. And then for job search services, again, these are some different things you can do that have already been kind of stated. Resume assistant, mock fair, mock interview, job fair, on-campus recruiting, credential file services, and building of electronic portfolios. That's something else that Texas Tech's Career Center offers, is helping students developing teaching philosophies and what's their diversity statement and all these different kinds of things to be able to help them feel more confident about their ability to go out and be a working professional, or if they're going to be a teacher, be a teacher. Services to employers. They can provide video conference interviewing. They can assist in recruiting certain populations. All these different kinds of things are things that you can offer as services to employers. And the very last slide here talks about consultation and outcomes assessment, which can be done with potential employers and on-campus constituents. You're going to just look at employment trends and feedback and guidelines for student referrals and career development issues, just examining the things that may or may not inhibit a client or a student's success with using career services that are offered on campus. And then lastly, it says they aggregate data on student learning outcomes and career-related outcomes for purposes such as accreditation, marketing, institutional development, and curriculum development are something that can be gathered. So ultimately, resources, they are your friend. They help make your job a little easier instead of the, I don't know how to help a student with that. A list of resources and keeping those handy can help you successfully plug students into career resources that will help them get career clarity. So that is all I have for your chapter 16 lecture. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next one.